What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time with the new Pixar film, Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 is directed by Josh Cooley, stars Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Keegan-Michael Key, and Jordan Peele. The fourth installment in the Toy Story franchise more or less picks up right after the end of the third. We get to see the toys now living with Bonnie, their new owner, after Andy donated them to her at the end of the third film. However, over the course of this time, Woody has become less than her favorite toy, and when she starts kindergarten, he sneaks to go with her when she creates this new toy, Forky, and Forky becomes the most important toy to her. But when they go on a vacation and Forky gets lost, Woody has to go on a journey to try to find Forky to get him back to Bonnie. I love the Toy Story franchise, so one of the things that's really easy about this film is all the voice performances and characters. It's great to see a lot of the returning characters come back, do all of their great things, have all of their funny moments, especially obviously the three biggest returning characters, I would say, for this film specifically. Those being Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, and Annie Potts as Bo Peep. I would say those are the three original characters that play the biggest role in this film, and all three of them knock it out of the park. Of course, all of the other voice actors playing the other massive group of original characters also do a fantastic job. And then alongside them, we get a lot of fun new additions to the story. We get Forky, voiced by Tony Hale. We get Bunny and Ducky, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. Their comedic duo is so great to see in an animated film like this. And then, of course, the highlight of the whole movie for everyone, Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves. But I think that this movie did have a very good separation of new and old characters in that they were there for a pretty fair amount of time equally. So we got to see characters that maybe were introduced in the second or third film, along with the original characters, and then next to those characters, we got these new characters who also got plenty of screen time. We got to get attached to them, we got to learn about them, and we definitely got to see their stories, which I think is so important in these movies, and I think all of that combined to make the movie feel very balanced. I would say that this film probably has the simplest plot of all of the Toy Story movies, but I think after what we saw in Toy Story 3 with having such an in-depth plot, introducing so many new characters, I think it was okay for this film to have a little bit of a more simpler story for us to follow, where these characters aren't being introduced to tons and tons of new characters like they were in the third. Sure, we get like a handful of new characters, but that's about it. And I think that that worked very well because, as I said, it makes the movie feel very balanced, so we're not feeling like some characters are underutilized while other new ones are just getting shown way too much. Pixar, as always, knocks it out of the park with the animation. The movie is absolutely beautiful in every single scene. It is insane how good they are at making animated films. I know that that's all they make, but comparatively to so many other animated movies that are made, you can just see how much more love and heart goes into it when they're making the film. And then one of my other favorite things about this film is just how funny it is. This movie is genuinely hilarious, which I was not expecting going into it. Obviously, kids' movies are always somewhat comedic to a point. They're there to, teach kids a lesson or, make them laugh, make them happy, give them entertainment. So there's always comedy in there, but this movie, as most Pixar movies, has jokes for adults and kids, but I think even the jokes for the kids aren't so childish and lowbrow that they don't hit with adults as well. This movie, everyone in the theater, grown-ups and kids, were laughing consistently at a lot of the same jokes, and I was laughing very hard for this being a kids movie. I do have one issue with the film though, and I guess it's a pretty big one, and it's more or less just the existence of this film. I personally feel that Toy Story 3 was the perfect bookend to the Toy Story trilogy. After that, it would have put it down as one of the greatest film trilogies of all time. And I don't think that Toy Story 4 tarnishes its legacy at all. This is a fantastic, very funny, very enjoyable movie. I think my big issue with it is just that it doesn't feel necessary in the plot that it's telling. The whole story feels tacked on to an already finished tale, and that's not necessarily the fault of anyone except for Disney for wanting to make a fourth film to make a bunch more money. And I can understand them wanting to do that. It's a beloved franchise. Why not make another one if you have a good script? And this movie does have a good script. I think, as I said, my biggest issue is that it doesn't feel like it fits with the canon of previous Toy Story movies. I think it's sort of like Star Wars, where the trilogies all take place so far away from one another, where we get characters from the films that we know and love before while being introduced to new ones. So maybe if Toy Story 4 sort of counts as the saga and they make a fifth and they make a sixth, and they're sort of two separate trilogies that just have characters from both, that could be interesting. But at the moment, I think Toy Story 1 through 3 didn't need 4, and 4 feels like a tacked on film that was unnecessary. I'm gonna give Toy Story 4 an A-. As I said, this movie is wonderful. It's a great heartfelt tale that I think is a very, very good movie. I personally just didn't think that it needed to be made. That doesn't make it bad. I would happily watch this movie again. I will happily be purchasing this movie, so I own all 4 Toy Story movies, because this is still a fantastic animated film that will go down as another classic made by Pixar. I don't want you guys to think that because I dinged it for existing that it's bad. I loved this movie. I just personally think the trilogy beforehand was basically perfect, and while this one does not hurt that trilogy, it adds a 4th, which turns it into a saga, and I think that it just isn't quite as up to par as the past 3. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Toy Story 4, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and hope to see you guys later.